Hello everyone. Today we have a book about curses, magic rituals, and some good old-fashioned supernatural hijinks that are sure to bring a chill up your spine and make you glad that you read this book. It's really good, and I'm certainly glad I had a chance to read it. And we're going to get into all that. But first, as always, I want to remind you that I have books for sale. As you can see, I have 2 horror anthologies and also a slasher comedy novelette set in a retirement home. And you can find all those at the link in the description. And also, I have a story in the anthology Ooze, Little Bursts of Body Horror. That one just released. I would love for you to go pick it up. You can read my story along with 20 other authors, and I hope you decide to do that. A link for that is also down below. All right, let's get on with the video. All right. So the book we're going to be talking about today is called Odious Ghouls by Tim Reimer. First of all, I love that title. And if you check out that cover right there, it looks like a VHS box from an old slashers 80 movie. And I really love that vibe. And this book, it has that vibe of that sort of thing, which is why I think you'd enjoy it as much as I did. Basically, it's about a group of younger people who have spent some time in Hollywood, the land of broken dreams. And one of those is a young lady with the last name of Fowl. Now, ever since she was a child, she has been told about a family curse. She was told that no member of the Fowl family can ever step foot in a meadow near their homestead because of this curse. Of course, she thought it was just because they didn't want her wandering off, and it was just something they told her, to frighten her into not going around where she shouldn't. But now this group is in Hollywood, and they've been making commercials together and barely making it in the land of wonder there. And so they decide to make a documentary about the Fowl family curse and what it actually means. And to do that, they're going to have to go back to where this woman grew up, go out to the meadow she was told never to go into time and time again since she was a little girl, perform a certain ritual that she's found out about. And even though nobody believes it's going to happen, she thinks this documentary is going to be the thing that makes her and her group explode. Not only through social media, but because it's based on a true story. And they're not really looking for results. She just thinks people are going to watch because of the what if factor. What if it works? What are they going to see? And plus, it's a good spooky story. They do need an extra camera person, so along the way, they hire an older man. He's like 60 years old. He recently retired, but some things happened in his life, and now he needs some extra money. He figures he doesn't really know how to operate a camera even in a semi-professional manner like their group is doing. But for $500 for one night, he's not going to complain. All he's got to do is stand there with a camera on a tripod, turn it every so often, and even he can figure that out. He's not really into the Hollywood scene or pop culture. He's more of a down-to-earth guy. He's worked hard all his life. He's in really good shape. But they decide to pick him up, hire him for this position because nobody else really wanted it. And off they go to this old homestead of hers, to the place she wasn't supposed to go. Along the way, they stumble upon a cemetery close to the meadow where her family's graves are. But once they get out there and night starts to fall, they decide to do this ritual. Now, what this ritual should do is make 3 different houses appear out of nowhere, out of thin air, because there's nothing else out there. And once that's done, they have to go into these 3 houses, light the fireplaces inside at the same time, and then that's supposed to bring back the Fowl family members from their grave and unleash their wrath and their hell, the hell of their curse, to the world. Or something similar to that. And, of course, this is a horror book. So the first thing you have to know is If your grandmother tells you there's a curse, and don't be stepping foot out in the meadow, you just don't do it in real life. Okay, kids? Just keep that in mind. Because yes, the ritual does work. These houses pop up. They think this is great for the production value of their documentary. People are going to freak out. They're seeing dollar signs in their mind. They decide to split up and each, a couple at a time, go into these 3 houses. But what's inside is a living nightmare. And that's all I'm going to tell you about the book, because I really want you to read it. Because the things that happen afterward are like, it's like a mix of the, it's a mix of the Evil Dead, a haunted house story, and like a slasher movie, kind of all rolled into one. And it really gives off the vibes that you would expect from a book with a cover like this. And that's a very good thing. That's a very good thing. Will, of course, the older man they picked up to run the camera, he's not privy to their group dynamic. So he's just considered a third leg, a third leg kind of guy. But once he sees what's happening, and once this evil is unleashed, and once people start rising from the graves, once these ghouls and these ghosts that inhabit these homes, when they go to light the fireplaces, they get locked in, right? They can't leave. And they're trapped inside with these hellish creatures. And they are frightening. There are some very cringy, in a good way, moments in this book that'll have you thinking, oh my God, this reminds me of a Saw movie almost. But he's outside just operating his little camera. But he realizes something is not right, of course, right away. And not everybody is going to make it, but the ones that do, they have to decide how they are going to get out of there. Like, what can they do to break this curse? What can they do to stop this evil that's happening? Now, the woman, the foul woman, she kind of gets possessed by a spirit because it's her bloodline. She's the one, she is the catalyst for this. There has to be a foul bloodline person to make these rituals come true, and she is the last one. So if she dies, this ritual wouldn't work, and the curse would be broken. But she gets possessed by the spirit of this thing, and she becomes something much, much more evil, let's say, than the rest of these creatures. And now the remaining people have to find a way to survive all these horrors that are happening and figure out how to stop it. And it's a very exciting ride. This book is fantastic. It is fast-paced. It's in your face. It's got all of those lovely tropes that I like so much. And it's written very well. It's not choppy. It's not clunky. The narrative flows along. And it's just a fun, good old-fashioned supernatural horror ride with all these elements that you would want in a horror story. And I highly, highly recommend Odious Ghouls to all of you boils and ghouls. Yeah, you see what I did there? I'm not funny, I know. But anyway, as always, I will leave a link down below to Amazon where you can pick up your own copy, and you definitely should. And as always, I want to say thank you for taking some of your time, spending it here with me. I really appreciate you guys watching. And until we meet again, keep reading spooky, my friends.